afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to the St. Lucia House of Assembly. If you were following us this morning, you would remember me saying that today we are creating history in St. Lucia with the first ever all-female sitting of both the House of Parliament and the Senate of St. Lucia. This is being done through a project called YWIL being the Young Women in Leadership, and it is a training program that has been offered here, started off in May, through a collaboration with Global Affairs Canada, that is the government of St. Lucia. YWIL is funded by the government of Canada, and it is a collaborative effort of the government, the Parliamentary, based in Canada, Civil Regional, that is the Caribbean Women in Leadership organization based in Trinidad and Tobago, Civil St. Lucia, and the Parliament of St. Lucia, supported of course by the government of St. Lucia. It was a training program that saw 42 young ladies from around St. Lucia between the ages of 18 to 25 go through training in leadership and parliamentary procedures, etc. Most of the training was done on a virtual basis, and it culminates today with an all-female sitting of the House of Assembly, as has happened this morning with the government the government ministers and parliamentary representatives, and this afternoon we'll see the sitting of the Senate, the upper house of St. Lucia, with both government and opposition senators and independent senators as well, debating a motion which speaks to gender balance and gender equality and things that can be done. So this afternoon the young ladies will be looking at that motion and discussing the motion with the intention of making recommendations on that motion. The motion of course arises from the pandemic, of course, and how it affected women, specifically speaking to women. This morning was exciting. There was also another, as the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Claudius Francis, was mentioning, we actually made history this morning because we had two of the parliamentarians joining us via Zoom. They could not have been in the House this morning. So this afternoon we were about to go into the Senate, and the President of the Senate this afternoon is Miss Marissa Calix. And so we will see presentations from around the table by members of the Senate representing the upper house in St. Lucia. We are now waiting for the entrance into the chamber of the President of the Senate and the clerks.
Let us pray. Most graciously, Father, we thank you for gathering our young women as well as our guests here today to witness, discuss, and debate the issues and potential resolutions revolving gender equality and women's economic empowerment. We humbly ask that you guide our proceedings, that it goes smoothly and as planned. This we ask in your precious name. Amen. Announcements. Senators Kashama Leo, Senator Alison Barron, and Senator Joella Baptist are unable to join us today. They extend their sincere apologies. This proceeding marks the very first all-women Senate sitting of our beloved Helen of the West, St. Lucia. It is indeed an honor to be here today, sitting in this esteemed house as we make history. I express gratitude to civil and parliamentarians for providing me with this opportunity. And I would just like to leave this with you guys today. A woman is human. She is not wiser, stronger, or more intelligent. Likewise, she is never less. A woman is human. Statement from ministers. Leader of government business.
Madam President, I beg to move the following motion starting in my name. Whereas COVID-19 has generated devastating economic impact, including an exacerbation of economic insecurity, increased care work responsibilities, new challenges for businesses in adapting to consumer demands and changing public health requirements, and the disruption of key economic drivers such as the service sector, all of which are realities that have differentiated and disproportionate effects for women and vulnerable groups. And whereas economies and ways of work have been rapidly changing even prior to the pandemic, spurred by innovation and technology, globalization, and increasing human mobility and informality of work, leading to increased automation, digitization, and flexibility for the workforce, and the manner in which these are addressed could generate either positive or negative impacts in the economy, workers, and social and gender relations. And whereas we as a country are actively engaged in economic recovery efforts to mitigate the effects of the pandemic, strengthen our resilience, which requires strategic consideration of opportunities to promote growth and diversification given economic and labor force trends, to support our workforce in building the necessary skills for the jobs of the future, and to advance in the commitments made to sustainable development through our adoption of Agenda 2030. And whereas girls generally take up more of the educational opportunities available to them, and women make up nearly half of St. Lucia's labor force, play a pivotal role in crucial economic sectors, and are benefiting from greater access to business and skill development programs. And yet, higher unemployment and poverty rates, gender wage disparities, and occupational segregation, and greater prevalence as primary caregivers indicate women's hindered ability to equitably participate in and benefit from the economy. And whereas enabling women's full and equal participation in the economy has positive implications for addressing poverty, correcting harmful gender norms, and supporting inclusive economic growth and sustainable development, in addition to reducing long-standing inequalities and vulnerabilities that have been exacerbated by the effects of the pandemic. and whereas economic policies and programs are not gender neutral, and in their impacts on our citizens as people of different genders and backgrounds have unequal opportunities and access to resources, requiring the application of a gender lens in our effects to address the need of all members of our population. Be it resolved that this government develops an action plan to prioritize gender equality and women's economic empowerment in preparing for the changing economy. We focus attention on 3 key areas. 1, creating an enabling environment. Implement measures to promote balance in the care economy within the border economy and redress unequal distribution of unpaid care workers within households. Invest in needed infrastructure to foster the growth of new and emerging industries and sectors and facilitate workers' engagement in flexible forms of work, including internet access and other specialized technologies. 2, providing education. Develop programs to strengthen women's and girls' access to knowledge and training related to high demand and emerging fields, including STEM-related fields and those in blue and green economies. Lead public awareness campaigns to challenge stereotypes around gender roles in the world of work. 3, increasing direct support. Provide access to needed funding, service, guidance, and other resources for women-owned businesses and enterprises in response to the unique challenges they face to ensure equal opportunity. Create opportunities and incentives for women empowerment in in-demand fields. A pleasant good afternoon to my fellow senators, young people viewing on social media and NTN. I would like to formally welcome everyone here today. Madam President, I strongly believe that gender equality is not just a woman's issue, but a societal issue. Gender equality is fundamental to the achievement of human rights and is an aspiration that benefits all of society, including girls and women. In an article published by the United Nations Foundation on Girls and Women, it states that in every region of the world, girls and women are still more likely to be poor, illiterate, hungry, unhealthy, underrepresented in leadership positions, and endangered by violence. Madam President, therefore, I strongly agree. I am strongly in agreement with this government developing an action plan to prioritize gender equality and women's economic empowerment in preparing for a changing economy. We focus attention on the areas creating an enabling environment for gender equality, providing educational opportunities, and increasing direct support to women. Today, Madam President, I will focus on the provision of education to girls and women for the development of programs to strengthen women's and girls' access to knowledge and training. Madam President, through this motion, although this motion alone will not solve the issue of gender inequality, it may be a step in the right direction. However, Madam President, in our society, there should be great emphasis on education as it relates to women's mental health. Madam President, Kristen Barrow in 2017 stated that too many women in our communities are dealing with childhood traumas such as rape, abuse, and are uneducated on safe sex practices. Therefore, Madam President, these women are just walking around in our jobs, in our public sector, private sector, and are basically dealing with all these traumas of the past. Madam President, can you believe that 49.5% of our population are girls and women? In a report by the CDC, nearly 1 in 5 women have experienced completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. So, this means that in our population, women, almost 18,290 women are walking around with this sexual trauma. Madam President, so I believe that this motion should factor in areas when it deals with childhood traumas. Madam President, despite the progress in education and in the labor force, women in St. Lucia are still exposed to specific gender challenges. In the St. Lucia Voluntary National Review Report on the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, it states that some of these challenges include teenage pregnancy, responsibility for children, often as single parents, low levels of child support payments, and difficulty collecting child support payments. I believe that educating our young girls at an early age on the consequences of teenage pregnancy and how it breeds a cycle of poverty can be a start to targeting these gender challenges. I also think that policies should be in place to support single parents through direct support on a monthly basis. Madam President, many international organizations are already advocating for committed to gender equalities through a series of commitments. The Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, the Beijing Declaration Platform for Action, and the Agenda for Sustainable Development, in particular, Sustainable Development Goal 5. Gender equality and women empowerment are fundamental components of a just and equitable society. In a study done by the United Nations World Tourism Organization 2020, women highlighted that they lack access to networks, markets, finances, technical skill, and information. However, many participants reported that more women are becoming entrepreneurs in the green economy than in conventional industries, and that there is a strong perception that there are more opportunities for women to progress in the green industry. Madam President, tourism has been proven to provide pathways to empower women. Therefore, we should maximize on the tourism product as a form of women empowerment. Madam President, as a government and minister with responsibility for tourism, investment, creative industry, culture, and information, I strongly believe that education and training of women in the tourism sector is very important for gender equality and women's empowerment. We should place focus on training in these areas: soft skills, networking and high-level training for career progression, targeted training for women to ensure that they can use technology to innovate their tourism product, provide gender equality training for tourism policymakers, managers, and employees. Madam President, due to women's concentration in low status and low paid jobs in tourism, whether it be vending or in the hospitality industry, their potential to fully contribute is currently untapped. Empowering women to participate fully in the economy, in the economic life, is essential to building strong economies, creating a more stable and just society, and achieving internationally agreed goals for development, sustainability, and human rights, and improving the quality of life of women and consequently that of the communities. Madam President, for the tourism sector, the impact of greater gender equality and women's empowerment would be highly beneficial, because diversity and gender equitable organization perform better with the participation of women. Madam President, participation in planning and in the decision-making process would take into account the needs of women. Madam President, therefore, it is essential that we involve women in consultations, project planning, and decision-making processes. As this is generally not the case, it is necessary for this issue to be addressed in the relevant procedures applicable to projects funded by local government and institutions. In this respect, two instruments can be implemented: a gender impact assessment should be integrated into the environmental impact assessment as a gender sensitivity sustainability impact assessment. Madam President, incentives, whether it be 3 years of tax exemptions, can be given to those institutions who utilize these tools. Madam President, women make up nearly half of St. Lucia's labor force. Therefore, women play a pivotal role in our economic sectors. Although they are benefiting from greater access to business and skills development programs, we know that more can be done and more needs to be done. Madam President, I believe that this motion provides education to girls and women, will be a great step forward and improve women's ability to equitably participate in and benefit from the economy. Thank you.
Senator Kosinati Osai.
Madam President, Senators, invited guests. As the Senator for the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training, I am in agreement with the motion that this government develop and enact an action plan to prioritize gender equality and women's economic empowerment for the changing economy. Madam President, according to the National Center for Women in Information Technology, women in managerial positions earn a 34% higher return on investment. Of the 4 million computer science-related positions, how many are women? 26%. 26. In executive positions in Fortune 500 companies, a mere 11. These numbers are not sufficient. These percentages are not sufficient. Madam President, I believe we can increase these percentages by developing programs to increase women's and girls' access to knowledge and training related to high demand and emerging fields. Madam President, an organization called Girls Who Code provide after-school clubs to girls in the 6th to 12th grades. These are ages 11 to 19. They also offer summer immersion programs to girls in the 10th to 11th grades. These are ages 15 to 17. These immersion programs take place at leading technology companies. Leading technology companies. These girls can cultivate relationships within these companies and therefore are a step closer to attaining roles at those various companies. Madam President, Senators, invited guests, as you all know, women face many challenges that may hinder them from attending these programs and various workshops. So not only should we offer programs, we should also offer assistance so that they may attend. Madam President, we can offer cash grants, which of course will be conditional on attendance. For entrepreneurs, financial capital can be offered upon completion of training to help women overcome the many barriers before them. We can also offer supportive childcare for those who are mothers. Madam President, as you and every single individual in this chamber here today knows, women bear unequal responsibility for childcare and household chores. Madam President, a youth training program called Jóvenes en Acción, which translates to Youth in Action and is located in Colombia, offered childcare subsidiaries and daycare services at schools. As a result, they saw an increase in participation of women with children. Also, for the women who participated, they saw an increase in employment rates due to the childcare provisions. Madam President, as I close, I'll leave you with this. As all of these examples are proven to work, Why would we continue to let our people down? Why would we not put effort into implementing similar programs in St. Lucia? As Hillary Clinton once said, women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world. I thank you.
Senator Michael Mahler.
Good afternoon, honorable members. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to contribute to this important debate. I rise to lend my full support to this motion. Zaha Hadid, British Iraqi architect who won many stellar awards in a male-dominant field, once said, "I used to not like being called a woman architect. I am a woman, not just a woman architect." Statistics shown by the St. Lucian Documentation of Times stated that in St. Lucia, more girls than boys achieved grade 1 to 3 in 19 out of 41 subjects taken for Caribbean secondary education certificate examinations in 2014, which attains for 61.3% of the participants. 2/3 of students attending tertiary educational institutions in 2013 to 2014 were women, ranging from 57.1% at offshore medical schools to 83% at the UWI Open Campus. At the largest tertiary educational institution in St. Lucia, the Safa Louis Community College, 62.6% of students were female. Also, in common with other Caribbean countries, women comprise a substantial proportion of heads of households, which accounts for 43.6% of the population. Madam President, with all this information put forward, it is very evident that women attend school, they excel, but despite the rapid increase in female enrollment in higher education in St. Lucia, women are still underrepresented in STEM fields. This is because of the numerous stories and experiences of women at the forefront of male-dominated fields. These experiences range from sexual assault, disrespect, degrading comments, and stereotyping. Madam President, do any of you believe that other women would willingly go into these careers after another woman have come forward and described their experiences? No level of education that a woman has would allow her to let her guard down and walk into these fields unharmed. STEM subject-filled careers have long been dominated by the male gender because careers that are physically and mentally demanding, such as being an astronaut or pilot, are often not seen as ladylike to society. We must work actively to change these gender biases and stereotypes. Women and girls should have the opportunity, skills, and resources to pursue any STEM career path. A significant gender gap has persisted throughout the years to all levels of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics disciplines all over the world. Also, Madam President, another reason why we women are underrepresented in STEM fields is because many girls and women have been consistently steered away from subjects such as mathematics and sciences during their years of education. As such, this limits their opportunities to work in these fields as adults. The gender wage gap can be reduced, women's financial security can be improved, a diverse and competent STEM workforce can be ensured, and biases can be avoided in these professions and the goods and services they generate by providing women with equal opportunity to seek and succeed in STEM programs. According to Goals of a Woman, majority male workplaces, women were more likely to say that they are A, paid less than men, B, are treated as not competent, C, received less support from leadership than their male counterparts, and D, suffered small but repeated slights based on their gender.
Senator Mahler, this is to inform you that you have 2 minutes remaining for your presentation.
Madam President, I beg to move that Standing Order number 35 be suspended so that Senator Mahler, Honorable Senator Mahler, be allowed 3 more minutes to make her presentation.
Honorable members, the question is that the senator be given 3 extra minutes to conclude her presentation. I now pose the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as that of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it.
Thank you. And D, suffered small but repeated slights based on their gender. As a result, I began to question that pursuing a career in STEM would be a mistake that would lead to an unfulfilling future. This generation of women should be armed with not only education, but with the skills needed to combat gender stereotypes at the workplace. Passing the motion today puts us on a path to introduce needed programs. We believe fully in the importance of women's full economic participation, and through this motion aim to create classes, conventions, and laboratories necessary to prevent our young ladies from becoming statistics, and a future filled with what ifs, but ifs, if onlys, and I couldn'ts. We, the government of St. Lucia, intend to implement programs which will increase access for young women to the innovative and creative world of the sciences. These programs will not only be available after a woman has graduated college or even secondary school, but will be put in place from as early as childhood education. Can you imagine a future where St. Lucian girls aren't afraid to dream and can boldly pursue any career they choose? Well, Madam President, we the government are working to create this future. We can create a more robust economy by empowering our young women to become doctors, physicians, and chemists. Gender equality in education must be prioritized in order to create a more sustainable future for our nation. It is for those reasons I stand in support of the motion. Madam President, I thank you.
Senator Onika Fontenelle.
Good evening, fellow Senate members and Madam President. I do agree with the motion being brought forward, and I do believe that it will contribute to women's economic empowerment. Women are better able to create something great or little out of nothing. We have a keen sense of detail and are very empathetic, hence why majority of the nurses in the health sector are women. These are the qualities we need to grow our economy, and it is a proven fact that when women participate in greater numbers in the economy, there can be significant economic gains. To touch on the first point in motion, Section B, whereas our country has insufficient resources, the largest sector in the country is the service sector, which accounts for 82.8% of the GDP, in which women predominate. To be resolved, one of the infrastructures St. Lucia can develop is very powerful internet service with the assistance of utility companies such as Flow, which will give opportunities for St. Lucians to invest in telemarketing services, which are marketing and sales activities that can be performed via telephone. This will create more employment and also be of assistance to mothers who may not have supervision for their children. Telemarketing can also be used to market local products and will be of great benefit to St. Lucian entrepreneurs. By investing in this project, we can be a bit more resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Speaker, fellow Senate members, I thank you.
Senator Darcel Joseph.
Madam President, colleagues, guests, online viewers, I stand before this honorable House today to put forth my contribution on such a pertinent motion. Whilst we as a society have tried over the years to drift away from the traditional ideologies and stigmas attached to women, we are still far from where we need to be. I look at this motion before me and I can't help but think it has much greater potential. I seek to speak to 3 areas of this motion I believe can be developed in aim of much greater stimulation and progression for all women. Madam President, in looking at this motion, I took note of a keyword: balance. Let's talk about balance. There is deep emphasis made solely on the care economy. Is this to say that this is the only sector of our economy where women suffer from inequality and deprivation? Are we really striking a balance when we place all our attention and our resources on one aspect of the economy, knowing others are suffering? Yes, strike a balance in the care economy, whereby domestic work that was once unpaid can be done away with, and open up the door for women who work hard to earn a living. However, in the same manner, we must consider all women. Women in all areas of our economy deserve equilibrium. Do not put them at a disadvantage or sideline them by focusing on one aspect of a very broad economy, knowing that these aspects suffer. Are we really saying that giving a wage for domestic work will balance the inequality and deprivation women face? No, it won't, and I'll tell you why. The problem of inequality and deprivation goes beyond the realm of just money, and we would be naive to think that simply redressing the care economy through monetary means would be sufficient. This brings me to my second point, Madam President. In the motion, I paid heed to the proposal for campaigns and greater public awareness to the stereotypes around gender roles in the world of work. Madam President, raising our voices are not enough. We've been doing this for years. We've demanded, we've advocated, we've spoken out, but we're still not taken seriously. I believe that a greater measure is needed. In addition to public awareness, we need to pass policies, legislations, laws if we must, in this honorable House to show that we need to be taken seriously. We have women who are vulnerable and they can't speak out for themselves, and we need to do it for them. Those women who are taken advantage of, to show that we have their best interests at heart. The reality we hate to accept is that men do get held with higher regard in the workplaces. It's evident in their salaries, in their positions, etc. When we have endowed upon establishments policies to be in effect, they have to oblige. We cannot rely on a sense of morality or good hearts anymore. We as women have been sidelined for far too long. The last key area mentioned in this motion that I would like to focus on is that of the increase of direct support to women-owned businesses. These are women who have already established a business. They're already inaugurated in the field of entrepreneurship. They have something to fall back on, something to work with. So why not focus on women who have no business enterprises? As of 2019, according to the Human
Senator
Economic...
Joseph, you have a remaining 2 minutes to make your presentation.
According to the Human Economic Assessment, there are 9,074 unemployed women. That is 18.9% of our women who are unemployed. And believe me, the numbers may have increased as we are in 2022. Wouldn't it be a great initiative to use these finances, the services, the guidance to women who are willing to start off a business but just don't have the means to do so? The other small business owners, they're already taken care of. We need to focus on those who can't take care of themselves. So I beg of this honorable House to consider those who have nothing established. Use these resources to help them out. This should be our primary focus. When this initiative has been carried out, then we can focus on the maintenance of previously established businesses. This is how we achieve equality. Madam President, this motion could be more refined. Refined in such a way where not just a percentage of women benefit, but rather all. The primary goal is for all women to be equally represented. Therefore, this motion needs to be reassessed, reanalyzed, reconsidered to fix the loopholes and in turn put stronger and more strategic initiatives out there for the progression of all women. Thank you.
Senator Ashley Muna.
Thank you, Madam President. The Director General of UNESCO has said, gender equity should not be seen narrowly as the women's issue. It is an issue that requires men and women to work together in social solutions that are both practical and based on principle. Increasingly, those solutions will be neither acceptable nor sustainable if the equal rights, dignity, and the worth of men and women are not respected. Madam President, I stand in this honorable House to show support to this particular motion that programs should be developed to strengthen women and girls' access to knowledge and training related to high demand and emerging fields, including STEM-related fields. Many women experience exclusion or difficulty gaining entrance to high-paying or what is perceived as male-dominating fields for otherwise known as STEM-related fields. Most times, girls perform higher than boys in STEM-related fields. This is something I have personally witnessed during my 5 years as a student of the Castries Comprehensive Secondary Schools, where girls were top performers. However, fewer job opportunities were given to those women who work professionally in these fields directly out of school in comparison to their male counterparts. A good example of a St. Lucian who has made an excellent contribution to STEM is Dr. Sharon Belma, our own Chief Medical Officer. Dr. Belma plays a very active role in the prevention and management of public health outbreaks and the coordination of activities with external stakeholders, and thus far has done a marvelous job in the management of COVID-19 in St. Lucia. Although overall demand is on the rise, the amount of women in science, technology, engineering, and math fields STEM is not. A 2011 report from the Department of Commerce states only 1 in 7 engineering workers is female, while only 27% of computer science jobs are held by women. Additionally, women earn STEM-related degrees like math and engineering at a much lower rate than men, despite the fact that more women graduate from college than their male counterparts. Madam President, the reality is that women in STEM careers bring important knowledge, skill sets, and ideas to engineering businesses, and it's smart for companies to foster gender equality and diversity in their hiring practices. Women in STEM careers make your engineering businesses stronger. Increasing the number of women in STEM careers is more than just the right thing to do. Educating, training, and hiring more women and other underrepresented groups in STEM can also lead to better scientific and financial outcomes. That's because increasing diversity in the workforce means gaining a variety of perspectives and ideas which can give organizations a competitive edge. According to Towards an Equal Future, Reimagining Girls' Education Through STEM, published by UNESCO, has stated, and I quote, "Education interventions by governments, UN agencies, private sectors, NGOs, and civil society have clearly worked in improving girls' access to education. However, consistent quality education in safe, gender-responsive environments across the board remains limited, affecting girls' opportunity to learn to their fullest potential and transition to workplace opportunities. If the purpose of primary, secondary schooling and vocational training is to provide equitable opportunities for children and young people, irrespective of their background, gender, and ethnicity, it has failed. Businesses as usual is not leading to equal opportunities and empowerment for every girl. End of quote. Madam President.
Honorable Muna, you have remaining 2 minutes to conclude your presentation.
Madam President, I beg to move the suspension of Standing Order 45-3 to allow the Honorable Senator Muna an additional 2 minutes to finish her presentation.
Honorable Senators, the question is that the Senator be given 2 extra minutes to conclude her presentation. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Madam President, too many young women are leaving prominent secondary schools like St. Joseph's Convent, Castries Comprehensive, Leonhead Secondary, to name a few, with honors and are unable to apply into the STEM workforce. Now, more than ever, with this COVID-19 pandemic, we need our young women to be able to care for their families at home and still be able to be efficient working from home, as we all know that women are natural multitaskers. According to Towards an Equal Future, Reimagining Girls' Education through STEM, published by UNESCO, gives a few ways in which we can transform opportunities for girls through gender-responsive STEM education, and I quote, number 1, providing community-based digital skills training for out-of-school girls using existing community groups or forming new STEM clubs for girls leveraging devices they already have access to and use regularly. This training can help with engagement in distance education and digital entrepreneurship. 2, creating initiatives to support girls' school-to-work transition, such as career guidance at school, apprenticeships, mentorships, and work experience programs, supporting girls' future aspirations and creating pathways for them to transition into the STEM workforce. End of quote, just to name a few. Madam President, all of these mentioned are a few ways in which we can aid our girls and women in STEM-related fields, as they have the potential to succeed and strive in these fields with a little guidance. Madam President, in closing, I would like to once again lend my support on this motion, as I support this motion in its entirety. Let's work together to end the diversity among young girls and women in the workforce and create learning educational opportunities, educational programs in STEM-related fields. I thank you.
Senator Ciara Williams.
Madam President, with the protocol that had already been established, I shall begin my presentation. Madam President, Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to receive a medical degree in the United States of America, stated that if society will not admit of women's free development, then society must be remodeled. Madam President, I support the motion, but certain aspects of it I believe should be subject to change, and these I will address as a means to enhance the impact of such a motion in St. Lucia. According to the United Nations women make up more than 2/3 of the world's 7,096,000 illiterate people. According to global statistics, just 39% of rural girls attend secondary school. That is far fewer than rural boys, urban girls, and urban boys. Now believe me, Madam President, when I say that education of women and girls can lead to their economic empowerment and boost national economic growth. Women need an education, and not just book knowledge that strengthens only the mind, but the nourishment of street smartness, the development of skills, talent, sharp intellect, and professional behavior will not only boost their skills, but would seek to deplete blind obedience to the patriarchal structure of our St. Lucian society. Training programs offering cooking, sewing, fitness training, gardening, hairdressing, all professional skills such as plumbing, mechanics, carpentry, and so much more are to be catered to women, single mothers, single women, mothers mainly, make up the head of single parent households, my apologies. Yet so often they pay men to do the job. Let's boost their self-sufficiency by teaching them how to do the job and not just clean up after the manly work is done. Because plain and simple, Madam President, that is Betty's. How wrong it is for women to expect the man to build the world she wants rather than to create it herself, as cited by novelist Annalise Ann. Madam President, students are the future. Let's target them. Seminars can be held at primary, secondary, and tertiary level education. But not only this, but gender equality and empowerment can be topics integrated into the curriculums, which will cause the monetary results of children, adolescents, teenagers, and young adults being not only aware of their rights, but on how to utilize it to better their circumstances. Schools contain countless extracurricular activities in the form of clubs. Through a collaborative effort of peer helpers, young leaders, national youth councils, sporting clubs, Red Crosses, all focus on equality, these messages can be quickly dispersed among schools throughout the island. It is vital, Madam President, that these programs cater to all youth, and that is both male and females, allowing men to be more open-minded and accepting of the concept, as well as strengthening the will of women in its implementation. Secondly, Madam President, it is highly recommended that intervention is universal, and I said it, universal. So easily we focus on women, but change involves both you and me. It involves us all. Presently, we have women fostering fruitless efforts and men being stagnant in their thinking. The integration of male into programs is a must. Let them see, let them feel, let them taste the sweet nectar of equality, all the while empowering them to make a better tomorrow for themselves. Gender inequality is a fight, and education as well as socialization are weapons that can be forged and perfectly wielded to accomplish victory, leading to a stronger, more prosperous society. Human rights laws, such as the right to life, the right to be treated right by law, and many others, what do? They function to protect the entire population, yet solely are focused and reinforced for men.
Senator Williams, this is to inform you that you have 2 minutes to complete your presentation.
Madam President, I beg to move the suspension of Standing Order 345-3 to allow the Honorable Senator Williams an additional 2 minutes to finish making her presentation.
Honorable members, the question is that the Senator Williams, be given 2 extra minutes to complete her presentation. I now pose the question. As many are of that opinion, say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say no. I believe the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
It seems us women, Madam President, utut pamun, we are victimized and make up the vulnerable population in our own society. According to United Nations Women, within the Caribbean, violence against women is pervasive. The 2001 Caribbean Regional Tribunal on Violence Against Women observes that the home for women is a dangerous place. Women are more likely to be beaten, killed, or disrupted or violated by someone they know intimately. With the establishment and enforcement of laws, women can be protected against social ills. This can be done through the united efforts of social organizations. That includes police officers, social workers, firemen, lawyers, judges, doctors, nurses, counselors, and so much more, functioning to quickly diminish conflicts and provide immediate short-term solutions, enabling women to gain quicker and more sufficient assistance, whether financial or likewise. Madam President, these suggested interventions, which involve teaching on gender equality into the curricula for girls and boys to counter the predominant socialization process, which enforces gender stereotypes and marginalizes girls from certain educational and later economic and career opportunities, should be incorporated into the motion for when it is time for action, because we cannot have education without action. With relation to policy change in fostering an enabling environment for women, equity, equality, adequacy becomes a natural phenomenon and not a biased transition. I thank you, Madam President.
Senator Adriano Theophane.
Good afternoon, Madam President. Thank you very much for this opportunity to appear before you. My name is Adriano Theophane, an independent senator. I am here today in support of this motion because I believe that all women and girls alike should be entitled to an education. And I quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world." These are words from Nelson Mandela. Today, I believe this quote is appropriate and fitting for this motion. Women are part of the workforce in coastal and maritime tourism and fisheries, the main blue economy sectors. Their jobs are the lowest paid, lowest status, and least protected. In small island developing states, tourism accounts for 30 to 80% of total exports, with the participation of women as high as 54%. But most work is low-skilled, casual, and temporary jobs. Women's rights are within human rights. Governments and businesses need to ensure that they are given equal representation. Not only is this a just cause, but studies show that economies grow when women prosper, and when women are economically empowered, the gender gap narrows. As for the fisheries and aquaculture sectors, women's contribution is overlooked or undervalued. Women were not socially expected to fish at sea due to their perception that they were the weaker sex and the dangers involved. Instead, they were heavily involved in shore-based activities and increasingly engaged in the marketing and sales of fish. Nevertheless, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development research indicates that women struggle to participate in domestic and international trade. Their work shows that there is untapped potential for women in the blue economy if we improve gender equality in the tourism and fisheries sector alone. Just imagine how much more we could do by diversifying in new areas like sustainable aquaculture, renewable energy, blue carbon, and marine bioprospection. A change in mindset is needed, just as changes in policies are needed. Growing a sustainable and resilient blue economy by fully including women's potential, will benefit society and economy and in turn advance all. Greener economies hold great potential to reduce gender inequalities and increase women's economical participation. It offers the opportunity to make women's contributions to society and the economy visible as well as to revalue them. Today, over 4 billion people lack basic opportunities, a decent job, healthcare, and education, simply because they are women. There is now compelling evidence to show that reducing the gap between genders is essential for tackling humanity's greatest challenge to develop fair economies. Gender equality and environmental sustainability are two sides of the same coin. Both women and the environment are undervalued in our global systems and economies. Both are essential if we are to see transitions to inclusive and sustainable economies. Helen's Daughters, an organization in St. Lucia, helping the green economy, supports rural women with the use of adaptive agricultural techniques.
Senator Theophan, this is to inform you that you have 2 remaining minutes to complete your presentation.
Madam President, I beg to move the suspension of Standing Order 35-3 to allow the Honorable Senator Theophan an additional 2 minutes to finish making her presentation.
Honorable members, I now put the question. Honorable members, the question is that Senator Theophan is given an extra 2 minutes to complete her presentation. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as that of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
There was a perception that farming was male-orientated and women farmers played an insignificant role in the whole spectrum of the St. Lucian agricultural landscape. Therefore, initiatives that were brought forth to reinvent the market mostly included male farmers. Interestingly enough, the Castries market, the largest produce market on island, 90% of the vendors are women, yet many still perceive that these women are not the actual producers. While this may be true in some cases, in most cases, women are both producer and vendor. This perception has essentially blocked female farmers out of commercial markets, and in some instances, female farmers are selling produce to bigger companies under the name of a male relative or spouse, as they do not have the requisite certifications. These fields are mainly dominated by men, and I believe that by educating more women and girls on the blue and green economy will help to mainstream gender equity. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Gian Felix.
Good afternoon, Madam President, all members of Senate, and invited guests. Madam President, I am honored and privileged to speak in accordance with this motion today. It was Cher, the goddess of pop music, who once said, and I quote, "Women are the real architects of the world," end quote. As an inspiring architect and being a St. Lucian woman, one can speak on the economic changes that we face today due to the many challenges faced before us. One of those challenges is the COVID-19 pandemic. The entire world is currently affected, and as a nation, the economic environment is suffering greatly. The tourism industry, which has had a major setback during the pandemic, has had many small or large-owned businesses which are currently still trying to resume normalcy. Madam President, it is public knowledge that we women make up almost half of the workforce of our nation, with a number of 32,756 workers, and it is us still women who have the highest unemployment rate with a percentage of 18.5%. The young girls who take up every educational opportunity are still those who do not benefit from the economy, thus raising the poverty amongst girls. So, Madam President, how do we resolve these issues? I propose that we encourage women-owned businesses to expand their products to a more diverse clientele and other wide-ranging sectors of the economy. The current Youth Economy Project being implemented by the government is an excellent opportunity to include basic training skills for those young women who are lacking the skills needed to obtain jobs and to engage in business startups. We can expand our assistance by enlightening women on the different opportunities we as the government offer to unemployed women. For instance, the agricultural sector has many opportunities. Example, the OECS Women in Agriculture Initiative, who employed 40 female St. Lucians who will be starting up in a strawberry farm in Nova Scotia this year. For these young women who are excelling academically, I propose that we grant them the tools and training which they need to continue to be successful, whether it be scholarships, tutoring, or simple basic seminars on succeeding. We can help them achieve greatness. In conclusion, Madam President, providing women with loans at low interest rates, training sessions to build their skills, or job opportunities to harness these skills is a fantastic way to help our nation improve economically. Madam President, in the meantime, placing an emphasis on women-owned businesses is one way to help improve the economy overall. I thank you.
Senator Bianca Sentage.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Senators, specially invited guests. I am pleased to arise in the support of this motion. For many years, women has been looked and talked down by men because men always believe that we women cannot execute the same roles as men. Gender inequality has been an issue globally for years. I believe that scholarships and vocational training should be given to young girls, teenagers who would like to pursue a career in the male-dominant field, for example, in plumbing, architectural, carpentry, and sciences subjects. According to the research on usho.org, women has been affected tremendously in the patriarchal work environment. Madam President, these are the reasons why women are impacted badly and treated badly by the males in the workforce. Racism, unequal pay, sexual harassment, women getting less opportunity towards a promotion. Madam President, gender inequality has been such a burden on our youth. I believe gender equality should be taught at primary, secondary, tertiary, and vocational institutions. We would like our young boys and girls to learn the gender biases amongst themselves, educating that young boys and girls, young men and young women should have the equal rights and justice. Madam President, we as a people can come together to stop the bias of men and women. As I close, we need to fight the stigma and discrimination. We need to be equally bond with one another and always remain as one. I thank you.
Leader of Government Business.
Madam President, I would firstly like to say that I am very pleased with all the contributions that we have been given here today at this Senate sitting. While listening to everyone's contribution, I can come to the conclusion that we all believe that women empowerment is very crucial in our society, whether it's through creating an enabling environment for gender equality, providing educational opportunities, and increasing direct support to women. We all believe that the passing of this motion will definitely be a step forward to change. However, Madam Speaker, I strongly believe that this motion looks great on paper, but for us to see results as a nation and the wider society needs to play a part in breaking the gender norms. Madam President, the opposition made great points that I believe this government should consider. Gender equality is not for some, it's for all. I do not intend to make this rebuttal any longer than it should be, because my fellow senators have stated everything that needs to be said about the benefits of this motion and what can be added to the motion. Madam President, I would like to end with this quote. Gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It is a precondition for the meeting of the challenge to reduce poverty, promote sustainable development, and building good governance. Thank you. Madam President, I move that the Senate stand adjourned.
Honorable members, the question is that this sitting, this house, do stand sine die.
All rise.
I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Sitting adjourned.
I think the Sergeant of Arms. We will now have a very short presentation of certificates to the participants. The Sergeant of Arms has been in the house by herself. Okay. So, we've come to the end of the journey. How do you feel?
I still nervous.
You're still nervous?
Yeah, I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my chest. In my chest, I feel the nervousness.
Bittersweet. This is the end of a journey of training for our young ladies between the ages of 18 to 25. This training, of course, historic as today is, because this is the first time that we have had an all-female sitting of the Senate of St. Lucia. This morning we had an all-female sitting of the House of Assembly of St. Lucia. Again, a first in St. Lucia. This morning we also was able to attain another first in St. Lucia when we had 2 members of the House join us via Zoom because they were not able to be here. We are ladies and we create history. So now we can say, the President, the Speaker of the House might pull my ear for this, but now we can tell the Speaker of the House that when members of the House and members of the Senate go off island, they can join via Zoom and make their presentations in the House and in the Senate. Because we were able to prove this morning that that can be done. You have been really fantastic. I really want to tell you, give yourself a round of applause. I know it was yeah, you can applaud now. We can't applaud when the House is on or when the Senate is on, but we can applaud now. I know it has been a journey for you. And as we wrap up, I want to especially thank the Government of Canada through the Global Affairs Office and the Parliamentary for collaborating with us in St. Lucia, Civil St. Lucia being part of Civil Regional, that is the Caribbean Women in Leadership, to put on this Young Women in Leadership program that started in May and culminated today with this historic seating. Partnerships are great, and we are ever so grateful to the Parliament of St. Lucia for working so closely with us to this, I'm biting my tongue now, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and also to the President of the Senate, the Honorable Stanley Felix, and the members of the Office of the Parliament for working with us, for taking all of your questions, for answering all of your questions, for being on call, not only to you, but to some of us as well who were part of organizing this. And to Eilish, I know she's listening online. Give Eilish a round of applause. And Delise over in Trinidad. So we have Eilish in Canada and Delise over in Trinidad, and us here in St. Lucia. Between, this has been the coordinating body putting this on. And so as we close, I would like to invite the President of the Senate, and not our President, but the actual President of the Senate of St. Lucia, the Honorable Stanley Felix, to deliver some congratulatory messages to you, the Senators, seated here this afternoon. Honorable Felix.
Thank you very much, Karen. First of all, I would like for you all to give yourself a round of applause. And you deserve it because of the manner in which you conducted yourselves, both today and last week. The level of decorum, which is a testament to the amount of preparation that you've put in into preparing yourself for today. As I sat down in my office and watched the proceedings in both houses, I watched those in the lower house, and I watched the proceedings in this house. I kept thinking, which of you, or how many of you, would perhaps one day occupy the same seats that you're sitting in right now, doing exactly what you're doing here today? It is one thing to have mock house sittings, but I think there must be a driving purpose. Not everybody is cut out for everything, but I do hope that this exercise here today would have sowed the seed in one of you or two of you or most of you to want to move on to get involved in the actual thing. The actual thing being to get involved in the democratic process that we have in this country. To get involved in the service of your country. And so I want to thank the organizers, Ms. Tobier, and I don't know who else is involved, but all those who are involved in putting this thing together, I want to thank you so much. I'm very, very proud of you. And I heard speakers say, was it this morning, he's saying that this should not be the last and perhaps it should be something annual. Well, I share in that sentiment. I think perhaps at this time next year, we'll have a new crop, or maybe I might see some of you again. So I want to thank you very much, Madam President. I think you did a fantastic job. Save for one little thing, which I'll tell you privately. Okay? But overall, it was a job well done. I want to commend you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, ladies, you are to be commended. Please don't take this lightly. There are people who prepare and come into this house over and over again for years, and some of them don't do as well as you. And yes, I said that. So please feel proud of yourself. I do hope, as the Speaker, the President of the Senate indicated, that among you sitting here, that you will wish to continue along this vein that you have started. Political life is a good one. Don't care what anybody tells you. And we need our women in politics. We need you to get involved in the process. We need your voice to be heard. We need you to share in what is going on. We need you to contribute to your country. And politically, getting involved politically does not always mean being a politician and standing on the podium and speaking, right? There are so many other places that you can get involved politically and get involved in your community. You have demonstrated that you want to be leaders and you want to be part of leadership. Please do not let anything deter you from that. Continue along that vein and you will be in a good place. We have some certificates to give you to say thank you for being here, that you can show off to say you actually did this. It is a once-in-a-lifetime process. YWIL only comes to a country once. Only once. So you are very fortunate to be able to take part in YWIL when it came to St. Lucia, because I do not know that it will be coming to St. Lucia anytime soon again. Yeah? And see how special that makes you. As we wrap up, I really want to say thank you to a couple of few corporate people who came on board to assist us in putting this on. Flo, PCD, I'm going to call her name and she's going to give me a callot. You know what a callot is? She's going to give me a callot when we walk out of the house. Miss Jasmine Ogis Henry has been so pivotal. I know some of you met her from PCD in ensuring that we did everything here, and as you collect your certificates, you will get a little token from PCD to congratulate you for being part of this. And Blue Waters, and of course Raise Your Voice, who always steps in to aid in anything that is being done by women and raising the profile of women. So I would like to ask Senator Alvina Reynolds to join me here as we distribute the certificates. Senator Alvina Reynolds, of course, sits in the Senate right now as a government senator, having served before as a minister of government, a Ministry of Health. I think it was Minister of Health, right? Minister of Health. So our former Minister of Health, and right now a government Senate in the upper house, and you are in the upper house. I know when we speak, we always speak about the House of Parliament. The House of Parliament is the lower house. You are now in the upper house. In other words, you have the power of sending the bill back down and saying, we ain't passing that because we don't agree with it at all. Go back down there and discuss it again. That's the power of where you sit. Yeah, be aware of that. Adriana Theophane.
Ashley Muna, Brianne Gustav, where did she go? She's absent. Oh, okay. Sierra Williams. Darcel Joseph. Gian Felix. Jamie Husbands. And Jamie is our clerk of parliament. We didn't hear her voice at all, but very important in the house. Mikhail Mahler. Marisa Calix. Madam President. I stand corrected, Madam President. I mean. Leader of Government Business, Miss Nazan Hutchinson. You know what I mean? You know it's me that stick there, right? Kosinati Osei. Osai. Let me tell you that. One of these days I will learn it. Onika Fontenelle. Bianca Sentage. No, I don't know. Thank you very much, Serena. So we've come to the end of our little presentation. Again, let me tell you that you should really be proud of what you have been able to achieve here. I am so very proud of you. I feel like a mother with endless. You know, you ever see the mother hens, how they brood over their chicks? That's exactly how I feel. It's been quite a journey. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and I hope that when we call again that you will come out. For those of you who are still considering it, as Civil St. Lucia, we would love to have you as members of the organization. And as you step out of this chamber today, please take with you the memories of the journey that you have been on. Please remember who you are and what your potential is. I know when we started off this journey, many of you, when you realized what it was thinking, not going to happen. I'm not going to be doing this. No. And even whilst you were preparing to come here today, you were still saying, no, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. But your delivery this afternoon did not show that you did not know what to say and did not know what to do. You were very well researched. You came across eloquently. Be proud of yourself. Thank you so very much to the Parliament of St. Lucia, Honorable Speaker and Honorable President. Ms. Montoot, please take our thanks downstairs to your team, our unending thanks for your patience with us, with me especially. Claudius, you say nothing now. But yes, we've come to the end of it all. It's been a wonderful journey. We'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. And let me say thank you to NTN, who's been our partner with this today, carrying this live, and to the Cadet Corps. Today we were joined for the entire day. Thank you so much for being here with us. And the mace we got from the Castries City Council was kind enough to give to. Remember we said if there was no mace, there would be no sitting. So that was a very important part for us to have today from the Castries City Council. Ladies, good going.